ask something on Twitter in my direct message the other day. Many times in my Native Strength episodes on my channel and stuff, I talk about mental health, but it kind of ties into a spirituality or a religious belief, okay? And all the tribes were different. Every one of them had different ceremonies and religious beliefs and that kind of thing. So I can't speak to that. I don't try to speak to that. But there are times when it just kind of lends itself. You know, the plan we made before our life, what brings happiness to us, that kind of thing kind of touches on religion a bit, in some people's opinion, I guess. So I was asked if I, and if Native Americans, believed in heaven and hell. Now, I can't speak to other people and what they think and what they believe, but traditionally, that was not part of our belief system, and it's not what I believe in. So then the next question this person had was, well, then what keeps you from doing bad things? And I mentioned that, well, we're all related. And that didn't seem like an answer to him. So let me explain it a little more in depth, because it's hard to talk in Twitter or direct messages and that kind of thing. You know, it kind of loses something when you don't hear the tone of voice. So here's what it is, all right? Mitakuye means we're all related. That is a Lakota phrase. But that's a belief held by most of the tribes as far as I know. It's certainly what I was taught by multiple medicine men and women, by my grandmother, by just about everybody who is of Native persuasion, blood, and tradition. Doesn't mean all Natives believe that. Some Natives are Christian or Catholic or even Jewish. You know, so those people would definitely believe in a heaven and hell. So if you don't believe in heaven or hell, what keeps you from doing bad things? All right, I've raised 3 boys, okay? And I want to tell you, I've noticed something here. In my humble opinion, it's a matter of maturity. When my kids were very young, if they were going to do something they knew they shouldn't, they waited until my back was turned so they wouldn't be seen and caught in the act. But if it was something like licking from a fresh cake, there was going to be evidence. So when I had just one child, it was like, we know it was you. There's no doubt about it, right? And of course, the child's natural inclination is to go, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. And of course, once he had younger brothers to blame it on, that made it easier. So that's what happens with a very young child. They don't want to be caught in the act. Once they get a little more mature, then it's about covering their tracks. And if you didn't see me, and if you can't prove that it was me, and you don't know it was me for sure, then, you know, they get a little sneakier here is basically what it is. But it's still all about, they know the difference between right and wrong. They just want to make sure nobody sees them do it and that they can't get caught by evidence. So that lends itself to teaching the child, there's somebody watching you all the time, and there will be a punishment at some point, even if I never find out about it, to make sure that the child will behave. But as a child grows and gets a little more mature, you notice things as a parent, if you're paying attention. You notice, for example, that even though they don't know you're watching, your child might do something to help their younger sibling. Or when you know it's the younger sibling that did it, they got in trouble, they did something wrong, that older child might come in and say, yeah, I did it too, to take the heat off of the younger one. And they know they're going to get punished in that case. Or if they did something good and they think they were not being watched, then they don't expect any brownie points, you know. So why did they do it? Well, my children were not raised to believe that there's somebody in the sky watching you all the time. So they didn't do it because of that. It was their natural inclination. If we truly believe that we're all related, then what we do for our brother or our sister or our neighbor, we do for ourselves, which is basically another way of saying the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So Native Americans, Mitakuye, something we have believed for centuries before white people ever got here, is just another way of saying do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We're all related, so if you hurt your brother, you've hurt yourself. Same premise, different words, getting at it a little different way, but it's the same idea. So when somebody says to me, how come you can go about doing life without stealing and murdering and stuff like that if you know you're not going to go to hell? Well, I don't need the threat of hell to keep me from doing bad things. I know that even if I don't get caught, I will feel bad about it. I have a conscience. I will lose sleep over it. I will probably start thinking about who's going to have to pay for my mistake or for my stealing or whatever it is I did wrong. And what are the repercussions? Because you never see how things go on and on and on, how other people are affected, other people you don't even know exist, children, spouses, parents, things like that. So that's, to me, enough incentive to not do wrong, to know that we're all related, and what I do to somebody else, I basically did it to myself. And that's true, because I'm going to feel guilty about it. I'm going to feel bad about it, because my parents, my grandmother, taught me better. I know better. And it would be dishonoring to her to ignore what she taught me and to do wrong. If anybody knew me and knew my grandmother, they would say, wow, your grandmother would be so disappointed in you. And that would cut me to the quick, because I don't want her to be disappointed in me. And I don't think she's watching me and judging me from the other side, although I know she's here too, because she's supportive. I feel her presence, I know her spirit is here. But that's not what this is about. This is about doing right and wrong. And I wouldn't need her to say, I'm disappointed in you, or somebody else to say, your mother would be disappointed in you, or anything like that. I know that I would be disappointed in myself, and that's enough. I know I've been taught better, and that's enough, because we're all related. So what I do to somebody else, I basically have done to myself. And I have. Because I will suffer greatly knowing I screwed up. So there you go. I hope that explains it. Hope that answers your question. Thank you for joining me. Hey,